Hey everyone, let's just jump straight into today's breaking news explainer. If you've glanced at your news feeds at all in the last 24 hours, you've probably seen an absolute flood of chaotic headlines coming out of the Middle East. It's a lot to process, right? So, what we're going to do today is strictly and impartially unpack the massive claims hitting international and regional media right now. From American outlets like EBC7 News, all the way to major regional broadcasters like TV9 Bharatvarsh, we're cutting through the noise. We're going to give you a clear, structured picture of an alleged Iranian attack on Kuwait based entirely on what the sources are saying. Let's get into it.
Look at the dramatic language coming straight from the source coverage here. Iran's destructive attack. I mean, they aren't exactly talking about subtle diplomatic tension, are they? These headlines are setting an incredibly high-stakes environment for the reports we're digging into today. When the media uses phrasing like this, it tells us right away that we aren't just looking at some minor border skirmish. We're looking at claims of major, explosive infrastructure damage.
So to make sense of all this chaos, we'll break it down into four parts. First, the Kuwait airport attack. Second, the halting of commercial flights. Third, the alleged strikes on U.S. military bases. And finally, the broader geopolitical conflict.
All right, starting off with Section 1, the Kuwait airport attack. So the really crucial point here is that multiple outlets are claiming the primary target was actually a massive piece of civilian infrastructure. ABC7 News put out a breaking report stating specifically that Kuwait airport was hit by Iranian drones. And then you have regional networks echoing this with urgent broadcasts describing the absolute complete destruction of the airport's T1 terminal. Just think about the sheer gravity of that for a second. This isn't some remote military outpost out in the desert. This is a highly trafficked major international travel hub that's allegedly being targeted by drone warfare. And we really need to understand what the T1 terminal actually is, because its alleged destruction totally anchors today's developing story. The T1 isn't just, a side building or a cargo hold. It is a primary civilian terminal at Kuwait Airport. By reporting the specific spot as the epicenter of the destruction in that initial attack phase, the sources are highlighting a terrifying vulnerability. Hitting a T1 terminal is literally an attack on civilian movement, commerce, and everyday international connectivity. Moving right along to Section 2, halting commercial flights. Okay, so what's the immediate on-the-ground consequence of an alleged drone strike like this? Total paralysis of Kuwait's airspace. Sources are reporting that all commercial flights were instantly shut down right after the destruction at the airport. I mean, the skies were essentially just closed. It's a massive logistical nightmare, and honestly, a pretty stark reminder of how incredibly fast geopolitical violence can just completely halt normal everyday civilian life. When you piece the source reports together, they paint a rapid, terrifying escalation. It basically goes like this. Phase 1, Iranian drones are deployed. Phase 2 is that moment of impact, where the T1 terminal is allegedly hit and destroyed. And then Phase 3 is the immediate fallout, the absolute suspension of all commercial flights. Seeing it laid out like this really lets us grasp not just what supposedly happened, but that incredibly fast domino effect timeline of the crisis. Which brings us to Section 3, striking U.S. military bases. According to coverage tracking the regional fallout, this is the exact number of U.S. military bases in Kuwait that were allegedly targeted by Iranian missiles. Two American bases. That one detail right there takes this crisis from being a localized regional issue and instantly catapults it into a direct U.S.-Iran confrontation scenario. And it's this reported dual targeting strategy that highlights a truly massive calculated escalation. Think about it. The sources are describing an offensive aimed at paralyzing everyday civilian travel at the T1 terminal on one hand, while simultaneously striking directly at the American military presence in the region on the other. So, with U.S. forces now allegedly under direct fire and civilian infrastructure burning, it forces us to ask the most pressing question. What does this actually mean for the Middle East as a whole? How does a localized dual strike like this threaten to ignite the entire region? Let's zoom out for Section 4, the broader geopolitical conflict. The chaos being reported across these networks is literally pulling multiple sovereign nations right into the fray. Just looking at how the sources break it down, we have Iran, who has claimed to have launched the drone and missile attacks while totally rejecting U.S. proposals. Then you've got the U.S. and Israel, who are being targeted in strikes and seemingly drawn into a much broader regional war. And meanwhile, neighboring territories like Kuwait, Bahrain, and Iraq are described in regional headlines as being directly hit or just completely engulfed in the conflict. The geopolitical shockwaves here are just immense. Sources indicate this conflict is already spreading out to the sea. specifically threatening massive maritime choke points like the Strait of Hormuz. Plus, media tracking the Iranian response notes that direct threats have actually been issued against Donald Trump. And on the diplomatic front, it's not looking good. Iranian figures, specifically pointing to Mojtaba Khamenei, have signaled a hard refusal of any diplomatic talks. The reporting claims their stance is that retaliation is going to happen strictly through explosive attacks.
The reported diplomatic position from Iran is incredibly stark. No handshakes, no talks, only explosive attacks. This stance from their leadership signals an absolute complete rejection of any potential U.S. proposals or diplomatic off-ramps. It basically frames this entire crisis not as something to be negotiated, but as an unavoidable, full-on kinetic conflict. So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought. With civilian airports destroyed, U.S. bases allegedly targeted, multiple neighboring nations engulfed in the chaos, and all diplomatic channels seemingly slammed shut, how will the U.S. and Israel respond to this massive escalation? It's a huge question. Thank you for joining us for this explainer today. Keep a close eye on these developments, and we'll see you next time.